Hey guys, it's Victoria with Square Root Vintage. I'm gonna put it out there. Today's video is gonna be all over the place. I've been trying to get my thoughts in order. I have some notes because I've started this several times and I can't figure out just how to put it in better words. So I'm going to start by saying it's not Founder Friday, but I wanted to share with you guys a collection I've been building since last year. 2020 was a very interesting time for us all. It was a rough year, and I'm just going to jump into it. Last year, I did a lot of sewing. I started really delving into YouTube's historical sewing community, the costume and sewist communities. And I rediscovered a love for sewing. I really enjoy sewing. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I like sewing for me. And I really got into it because it was a way to distract my brain last year, where I could make all these pretty things and not have to think about the fact that I couldn't work and I didn't know what was going on and who knows when we'd be back. And oh my God, there's this global pandemic full of just a scary virus and no vaccine. They're trying to work towards it. And there was so much happening. On top of that, we also had the Black Lives Matter movement and the murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and just the crushing knowledge, not even knowledge because we know about it. It's just the in your face, racial injustice and racism and nastiness that was just being spread throughout this country like cancer. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I did a lot of sewing, but I was also really trying to focus on learning 40s and 50s historical sewing practices. And during that time, I picked up a book. It was actually before the pandemic. I picked up a book at an estate sale called I can't even read the cover. It's so faded. Look at that. There is a pattern on there. There is a title, but it's so faded. This is called The Complete Book of Sewing, Dressmaking and Sewing for the Home Made Easy by Constance Talbot. This is copyright 1943, but revised in 1949. I bought this book at an estate sale, and I was going through it. First of all, it's wonderful. If you're able to find a copy, I'll see if I can't find one, and then I'll put it in the description below. But it's a very good book. It's a very good resource. And in chapter 1, they talk about choosing the right clothes, some basic styles, choosing your colors, choosing clothes according to your figure, choosing clothes according to personality, how to choose hats. There's so many things, but they start you off on a particular footing. So she says, the first step in dressing well is choosing wisely. No one woman can wear all the styles developed, and the fashion industries never intended that she should. They offer a broad assortment so that each woman can choose from it the style that best suits her figure and personality. I love that. I love any book that that starts off with, hey, yeah, you can learn how to sew, but you also got to know how to sew the right things for your body. And we're going to help you figure that out. I love that. She's setting you off on the right foot. Way to go, Constance. Going back, though, to choosing your colors. So she talks about choosing your colors and how to do it for your hair color, your eye color, but she also talks about skin tones. And the deepest skin tone that they talk about here is clear olive. So clear olive is think Sophia Loren or Gina Lollobrigida, a deeper, Italian, Mediterranean kind of skin tone. It's very fair. but still a little bit like deeper skin tone, but it's not dark. They refer to it in here as a dark complexion. And they mention colors for dark complexions that they're like, oh, these are like no colors essentially. And it's colors like, where is it? Like purple, hard shades of blue. So it's like deeper colors. They mention, I think, green in here at one point, but like a lime green. And they're referring to them as like no colors. And just it sparked me. I was like, wait a second, those are all colors that go with really like black, dark complexions. Those are complementary for us. And I was thinking, and it kind of clicked because, again, learning the historical sewing, but also terrible things happening in our country. And I was like, oh, this book was not made for me. Got it. I get it. So I still use it as a reference. But when it comes to like how they're thinking about styling something for specific people, there's an entire group of people that are excluded from this publication, which is, it was a problem of the times. It's something that we can't erase. A lot of people, I think, like to like shove it under the rug and be like, oh, it was a different time. It's like, yes, it was a different time. It was a terrible thing that happened. It's a terrible thing that still happens. There are many terrible things that still happen in this country that people think are historical, when really it's like, no, this was yesterday. And I don't know if you can call yesterday historical just yet. But I was reading that and just kind of learning about different techniques, and was like, you know what, because I realized I don't really have much of a basis for Black culture and Black history for the 40s to the 60s, besides what has been taught in school. And it's not much that gets taught in school. You literally just learn about like 3 figures in the civil rights movement, and that's it. So I wanted to really explore Black culture through the lens of people during that time. And so this book and all of the dumpster fire crap that was happening last year sparked a new collection. It sparked a new passion that I have discovered and I really enjoy, and I want to share it with you guys. So before this video starts to go on way too long, one of the things that I went about going about searching for last year were publications, literature from spanning from the 40s to the 60s, early 60s. I'm not a huge fan of the late 60s and 70s fashion, and like into the 80s that have some really cool stuff, but I more so favor the 40s to the early 60s when it comes to fashion. So I try and learn as much as I can about those specific time periods. So this is more so me focusing in on that and trying to learn about the people who lived during that time period, what was happening, and how it influenced what they were wearing. So I went on a search and I came across this great company on Etsy called the Black History Hut. And I started buying just vintage publications of magazines that pertain to people of color. I'm going to preface this because I'm going to show you a few of those. And they do use language that we would deem sensitive today. It's not as sensitive to me because I read so much of older periodicals and older magazines. So I just want to put out a notice that if you're offended, I'm so sorry. Again, this is history. Sometimes when you learn about history, a lot of things are terrible and a lot of things are hard to deal with, and you just got to get over it and kind of move past it and say, oh, that's not right. That's not right. But again, the great thing about learning about history is that you push forward and you use that knowledge to make the world a better place. So keep that in mind. First publication that I picked up from Black History Hut is Negro Digest. Again, Negro is not like Nigger. That is a racial slur and something that nobody should say. Negro is more akin to saying Black or like Black American today. So Negro American is something that you would hear a lot of times in something like this, or just Negro. It means Black or Black person. It's kind of like Hispanic culture, because I am Mexican American as well. You would say yo soy negra, like I'm a Black woman, in order to describe myself. I also might say morenita because I am mixed. So sometimes like morena just means like brown skin. Negra means dark skin or black skinned. That's just like, it's a descriptor word. So when you're thinking about this, like Negro is a descriptor word. It just means Black person. Keep that in mind. So Negro Digest, these are from 1944, July 1944. I've got a January 1948 and an August 1948. They have very interesting articles. One of my favorite is The Jive is On, which talks about jive, a language before Ebonics that truly is a language all its own. It was, I'll have to read the article for you at some point. I'll do a separate video on that if anyone is interested. Honestly, if I'm interested, I'll do it. Another one, My Most Humiliating Jim Crow Experience. Should Negroes Quit Roosevelt? There's a lot of great articles in here. Do Negroes have a racial odor? Will Negroes boycott a Jim Crow army? So many good things. I still haven't made it through reading all of these, just because I'll kind of show you the inside. It's all no pictures, just articles. They're all very good, but they are hefty in the 40s because it's a lot of hard subjects that they're referring to. It's like the end of the war. Is it the end of the war, July? I'll have to, maybe not. The end of the war, and after the war, but still having to deal with so much racial inequality, racial injustice, racism towards Black people. It's a lot, and it's very hefty. So these ones I haven't fully made it through, but they do have some very interesting articles. I'm hoping one day to kind of scan these in and put them in Pinterest so that people can see. So I started collecting those, and I also went on a Jet mini magazine spree, because can't talk about fashion if there's no photos, like if there's nothing describing. And these guys, look at how pretty, just the colors, the people, the women, like all so beautiful. And there's a lot of things about fashion and history and moments in like Black culture and Black history that I'm really enjoying learning about in here. You get not only, you get like a full like zeitgeist, full spirit of the times, because they talk about like little figures, just like people having children, like normal folk. They talk about like one of the things that I really love coming across it. They'll be like, oh, this is the first like person of color that's ascending to this position. Like they'll do accountants. This company has taken on a Negro accountant, and they're the first in its history. Like little things like that in every city across the nation that is contributing to this publication. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really just amazing, the sense of community nationwide that you get from something like this. And not only are there things on different actresses and like playwrights, musicians, like boxers, every which person, but you also like get the little people, which I really love. Everyday average Joe folks talking about like, oh, they're expecting a stork, or like, oh, this person is like gonna be homecoming queen. It's so cute, and I so enjoy it. But I started collecting little things like this because it helped me to really appreciate and to learn about the time. Right now, I finished these three. So I finished December 1954, December 1955. Most of these are from December that I find, or like later in the year. I've just got one that is from April, and I'm so excited about it. 1954 November, but it's got like just so many. This one was great. What's new in sweaters? And they have just beautiful photos of sweaters, like decorative sweaters, late Christmas gift ideas. There's one in here. Los Angeles beauty models 55 swimsuit called Spindthrift. They're referring to 1955. So just, again, I want to post these on Pinterest because honestly, like, I think it was one of the December ones that I came across. The first time I've ever seen like a black pinup. Like a black pinup girl besides like Eartha Kitt. You know, you come across like, I on my Instagram, like for 4th of July, I'll post pinup photos like that have to do specifically with 4th of July. I've never seen a black calendar girl. And it was so exciting. Like I almost cried. I was really excited because to see the representation in here was absolutely beautiful. So I started collecting these. I have way more because I just ordered these guys, so they just came in. But I'm really enjoying like going through right now, 1958. There's a lot on the civil rights movement. In this one in particular, there's like a full like 2-pager where Martin Luther King Jr., a very young Martin Luther King Jr., is being arrested for loitering in front of a building. He's just standing there with his wife, Coretta. I really, like, this has sparked, like, a big joy in me, and I can't wait to kind of look through these some more and really highlight soak in all of, like, the clothing, but also, like, really see what was happening from, like, again, the lens of our ancestors. This is only, like, 60, I think it's, like, 63 years ago is for the latest one that I have. And that's not, if you think that's not long ago, like, yeah, no, it'll be like 60, 70. The latest I think that I have, like, I'm terrible at math, you guys, I'll say it up now, but it's like 60 to 80 years. Like, it's not that far away. Like, that's our grandparents. That's nothing. I mentioned, like, a lot of people like to sweep it under the rug, and there's a lot of terrible things happening today where people are trying to make it to where these things aren't taught in school, but it's a lot of very interesting history that really isn't that far back. If we think about it, like, my grandpa's only like 83, and he's very much like sound mind, sound body. Like, he remembers a lot of this happening, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see. It's very interesting to see and to read about and to learn about. And I'm going to show, I think I'm going to do separate videos dedicated to it where I just talk about like individual magazines and what's happening in them. And I do want to do like uploading these guys to Pinterest so that I can share it with everybody else, because honestly, like, you guys, like, it's something that needs to be seen. It's a celebration of culture, and I'm living for it. But yes, I'm at the end of this video, end of my rope. But yes, I plan on going through these guys and talking more about these, and I hope that you're as excited as I am to kind of see more of these. So I'm going to end that here. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I hope you're just enjoying life, soaking up the sun, drinking some water, and I will see you next time. I hope everyone has a good one.